So are you ready for the update? In the content manager it is shown as 24.5.10. So I'm gonna go to 08 right and start there. Jump out in drone view, make it a little bit darker. So the PAPI lights on 08 right have now been corrected. This has now been set as a 3-degree slope, and it is now exactly on the touchdown marker. So the other problem was the northern runway. '08 left is now working. It's set at 3 degrees on the PAPI. '08 right is now working, and I know 26 left is working. And that should also be 3-degree slope. So heading back to where I started. Now all the exit taxiways should be looking pretty good with the alternating orange and greens. Foxtrot Romeo is now looking good. Both ways. The new rapid exit also should have the exit taxiway lights alternating. It's looking good. So pretty much all the exit taxiways should have alternating orange and green lights now. So I'll make it a bit lighter. If I zoom over to Pier 1 in the South Terminal, you'll notice that now all the HSBC livery has now been removed from Pier 1 and all the jetways. So these jetways were a bit of a problem to start with, because when I was exporting the sim object and building the project, these canopies were fully extended and they were not moving. So I did contact Illicit Room on YouTube and just put a comment in, and we figured out what the problem was. In Blender, go to Jetway, for example this one. So with this, the problem was in settings, animation, and I had to untick always simple animations and optimize animation size. I had to untick these two, and it seemed to have fixed the problem with the canopy being fully extended, so that was good. So Pier 1, all the HSBC livery has been removed. Also Pier 2, pretty much I've removed all of the livery. These jetways have the livery removed in real life, but because they're the same sim object as these ones, and these have not all been removed yet, the livery, I've just left it. So I'm just gonna take my time, wait for them to do whatever they're going to do. See, all the HSBC livery has been removed from the side of the buildings. There's no rush to do this. I've no idea what they're planning, whether it's going to be a new branding or what, but this is the situation in real life. So all the jetways are freshly painted, and that's as it is. I'm going to zoom over to the rapid exit, the Echo Romeo rapid exit. So I did find a really good video that popped up the other day on Flight Radar 24. Airfield operations at Gatwick.
Turn your ideas into videos. Go to artlist.io and get everything you need all in one place.
So this was a really useful video.
Air traffic's positive control at that point. So we've got free ranging in the
because it had a few glimpses of the rapid exit taxiway, so I was able to, it did help. So with the flight radar video, I was able to see that there are hold shorts in position, and there are some taxiway signs. 08 right, Echo Romeo. So I was able to add that. So on the other change is taxiway Echo, that's now closed. So it's no longer in use. I've put some of these stop marker bars, a yellow cross. It's hard to see, but I think the coloration has changed on the exit point. I've put some of these edge bars. So these are, don't think they're lighted, but I've just given them a little bit of a emissive texture, so at night they do light up slightly. So moving over to the fuel farm area, give it a little bit of weather. I've done a little bit of work on the fuel farm area. So it's not finished, obviously, there's still lots more to do for this area. So these are pretty much the beginning of what I've added, because the main thing that I have done is add lots and lots and lots of taxiway signs. So the way I did this is when I flew out of Gatwick in real life last month, there's a really good viewing area. You can walk to the air bridge even if you're not flying from one of these stands on Pier 6, you can still get across the bridge, and you can get back to the departure lounge by using lift. So if you go right to the end of the air bridge, there's a really good viewing area where you can get a great view of a huge area of the airport. There were a few other people there. So when you need to get back, so when you come to this area, you can walk all the way back. And there's some lifts in this area. Obviously I've not modelled these stairs coming up, but there are a huge set of travelators that break through here and go back down. Obviously that's one way, you can't get down there, but there is a lift in this area so you can get back to the departure lounge. So I sat at the end of this air bridge for quite a while waiting for my flight with a Sony AX53 camcorder with a really good zoom lens on it. And I was able to cover a large amount of the airfield looking at all their taxiway signs. So got lots and lots of videos, quite difficult ones. When I did take the flight, it was not so good because it was dark. I managed to get a few with difficulty looking out of the window of the Emirates A380. It wasn't very clear though. So the main way I got lots of taxiway signs was by looking out from the air bridge. So, talking of taxiway signs, I'm going to zoom back over to 08 right. So here's some new taxiway signs. So this is a bit of a change. With all of these hold short taxiway signs, the name of the hold short is always on the outside, and the information is always on the inside of the hold short centre. So you've got same information but two different models, and the same here. So this is Juliet hold shorts. So all of the new taxiway sign models, you can tell that they're new because at night they give off a little bit of lighting on the ground, so you can tell that they're the new models. So I did a lot of this when I was on holiday with Blender. And I first of all started off with a huge one project. I had all the taxiway signs that I was going to add, all these extras. It was getting really complicated. I had to search through. I used to group by collections, so then I'd have to search all the way down for every single model. So I gave up with that idea and I just created separate project files for each model. So just look at this one. So this is much easier. I just save this as text TWB R126 left. So that is saved. That's a version 2. I just renamed it because there's another one that's similar with the R1 on the other side. So as you can see, this is a texture. This is a texture using some arrangements of letters and some arrows. So this is now a much better optimized model. It's also got a bit of emission as well, which was not easy to get perfect, because if you leave it too emissive when you're far away, this gets really hard to read. It's not so bad with the white on red, but the yellow taxiway signs were really hard to read. So with a lot of playing around, for instance this type, the problem was when you're quite far away, the actual writing, the letters, the text was getting blown out by the brightness of the yellow. So I had to play around with the emission strength value and I set it at about 0.5, and that was just about perfect, especially with the taxiway signs, which are all yellow. I mean, it's still not easy, but at least when you zoom you can make out the actual black text way better than before. So all the new taxiway signs have got this slight blend of light that's shining on the grass. I've tried to lower it a bit with these ones, but some of these taxiway signs are a bit of a guess. I haven't actually seen that example, but see, looking at Google Earth, it's not clear at all. It does look a little bit red actually, but it's hard to say 100% for sure. I think that's 08 left, and then there's information about quite a few different taxiways, at least 1, 2, 3, possibly 4. So using a bit of intuition, I know that 08 left is this runway, and hotel is this exit point, and then a bit further up it's Golf, and then to the left here it's Juliet. So that's how I figured that out. Just zooming over to the BA hangar. So these are now correctly done. Yankee 2, Yankee 1 modelled, and there's one over here. Slightly different, Yankee 3, 26 left approach. So that's the whole point for any aircraft being towed only in the daytime, because this doesn't have taxiway lights, because this is literally underneath the landing zone of 26 left. And when you get to this area, there's a new taxiway sign here, which is giving you information about the taxiway that you're on. And Victor is this taxiway, Whiskey is this taxiway, and Victor is also extending across here. So there's a little bit of lighting. So this is a older model. Mike Victor Alpha November Mike. See, there's no light coming off of it, and this was actually possibly not a texture, it was actually modelled text, some of these, I can't remember, but if you look at the So the new taxiway signs are very, very efficient, modelling just like 30 kilobytes. So if I search for Mike Victor Alpha November Mike, so it's slightly more, could be a texture. I know 100% that these it's hard to tell. Anyway, I digress. This is a new version, and the mic holds shorts. Are new. The alphas are new. That's a new one. Bravo hold short is a new taxiway sign. Charlie, you now got a bit more information when you're exiting. There's more taxiway signs here. Delta, Echo Romeo, rapid exit, now I know that these are pretty much 100% they are text modelled, so I'm going to have a quick look. So there you can see, because it's using modelled text, it's not a texture, that is substantially bigger file size for that model. So you're looking at 130 kilobytes as opposed to about 27. So all these extra taxiway signs have been changed as well. A lot of these have been changed, but obviously not this one, not yet. Golf has been done. Information about the northern runway when you come off of Golf. Hotel is done with information there. And this is a popular stop point when 08 right is in use. Juliet 7. So these are new ones, Juliet 5. Juliet 6. So So they do two different types for the same information. Got information here about uniform. They are not right. I will change them in the next update. Tango is correct. Got information about Sierra. You've got the slightly different hold short. That's good, that's different, that's changed. So we're coming on to Romeo. All the information is now correct on this. Quebec. This is Juliet. They've been changed. Romeo 1. That's a new one. Quebec. And then lots of information. This is the Quebec taxiway, which also goes up here, so you sort of offset. Then Lima is this taxiway here. So it's the same sign here, because this is Quebec. Lima is the one that goes under the bridge. It goes to here. So this renamed taxiway Romeo now. That's good, that's a new one. That's a new one that I've added. So Lima ends and you turn left onto Sierra. We're coming into Quebec. We've got all these taxiway signs that are all correct. Quebec Alpha, Quebec. There's quite a few here as well. This short taxiway is Quebec Bravo. It comes along here, Quebec into Quebec Charlie. And this is Quebec Alpha. So I have lots of new signs that I've added along around Papa and November. November 1 is here, and Papa 1 is here. So I've added these sort of edge lighting, but they should be reflective, but I've given them a little bit of emission. There's a few additions here, not too many. A few that I'd missed out, especially with Alpha. I did make the mistake here. This has been corrected. So this is actually taxiway Alpha. That's Alpha November. I think I had that down as Mike, so that was wrong. And Zulu taxiway Zulu, and turning into Alpha. Last but not least, I've finally got rid of some of these horrible modelled textures, and they're now apron textures. This one, that's now an apron texture. We've got Alpha November, Victor, and I had quite a few here, Zulu and Juliet. There were a few more somewhere that I need to do. So that is the update. Lots and lots of helpful taxiway signs. So there's no way you can get lost now.